Well, welcome to special coverage. This is VADA Live. I'm your host, Dan Carrigan, and we're at the 2025 convention at the beautiful Omni Homestead Hotel. And I'm joined with an amazing guest to talk about being here, the state of auto, all this fun stuff. It's Speaker Don Scott. Speaker Scott, thank you for joining us on VADA Live. How are things going? What's your impression of the convention so far?
First of all, thank you for having me. I want to thank the auto dealers for having me. It's a beautiful conference so far. I love this location, historic Omni Homestead. Can't go wrong.
What about the automotive industry that's top of mind for you right now?
Well, in Virginia, I think we've done a good job making sure that we protect the relationship that dealers play between manufacturers and the consumer, making sure that we have the financial protections, the consumer protections that the dealers provide, and making sure that they're always the most connected to the communities, because they're closer to our customers, they're closer to the people, and we trust them to protect our citizens. So we've had a good relationship with the Virginia Association of Auto Dealers.
And heard you mention recently too the role that dealers play in Virginia being, we'll say, the recent lead in the pro-business climate. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Well, VADA, you've done a great job. The Virginia Automotive Dealers Association, y'all have done a fantastic job of making sure that y'all have built jobs. Even during COVID, I remember auto dealers, everybody was worried about what would happen. And that was the time I went and picked out a car, because dealers were essential, and we were able to go in and do some work and continue to work and continue to protect those jobs and protect those industries. And so it's been a good partnership here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And we've had a great business climate. I want to make sure that we continue to have that climate where we make it successful, make people who are working in the business industry, make them successful, and making sure that, the business industry protect those jobs, because that's what I'm most interested in, making sure that we have good jobs here in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
And mention jobs, 60,000 strong with the automotive industry in Virginia, and these are strong positions. I believe you had mentioned that in the past as well. What are your thoughts with, when you're talking jobs, you're talking impact of an industry in Virginia, the one automobile dealers play, and people that are working from just those on the sales side to the fixed operations, the mechanics, all of that?
Well, I get to see it every time I go into my dealer and see every single level of, the initial relationship was with my sales guy, and then the general manager and the finance guy, and then every time I go back for service, I have a service guy and all the mechanics. I'm lucky enough to have a great relationship with my mechanic, because he had to teach me how to drive my car. And so I can text him sometimes and say, hey, what's this? What's going on? Because these cars are so sophisticated now with the technology, you get these alerts. I'm like, what the heck does this mean? So I'm lucky enough that I have a great relationship with my service guy. Shout out to Philippe at Checkered Flag Porsche. But that's my guy, and I can text him and find out what's going on.
It is interesting too, because a lot of speakers mentioned here, and as part of what we share on VADA Live, is that consumer element. And you and your professional role, as well as being a consumer, it seems like those little things add up. Can you share your perspective from the car side of things? Because both lawmaker, both car consumer, I'd love to ask you about it.
I really think, even from the lawmaker side, I get to see why dealers do the things they do. I get to see why the industry is organized the way it is. The franchise model is a great model, and I really believe that it does provide a segue from the manufacturer and their interests, but making sure they protect the consumers. And that's why I'm so invested in making sure that we continue to protect the franchise model here in Virginia. And then on the other side of it, from a consumer perspective, my wife, my daughter, myself, we're consuming, we're buying cars, and I get to see the experience from another side. And of course, I have some good friends here who work at VADA, so I can find out, why is this price? What is that? What's going on? And I'm not taking advantage of anybody, please, y'all. They give me no perks, believe me. Go check the price tag on my car. But they give me no perks. But what I do is I kind of understand the whole process, and I'm very invested in the service side. And so because I understand how many jobs are driven from service, that's why I get to see every day how many jobs are driven from the service, the parts, the whole operation. And so I think that we have to continue to protect that and grow it. That's the beautiful thing. We still have the opportunity to grow, and hopefully we'll continue to do that.
If you really were to sum it up, how important is the franchise system in Virginia? How pivotal is that to you from your point of view?
From my point of view, I think the franchise model is so critical to everything, to keep creating a system that's fair, that makes sure that consumers understand what it is that they're getting, that making sure that they have an expert at their fingertips. It's not like you have to go online and make an appointment and figure out who is and talk to somebody in India. You can go to the dealer, call them, talk to the people that you actually purchase your car from in the community. And more importantly, these are the people that also give back to the community. They sponsor Little League. They sponsor our kids' dance court clubs. They're in the high school. So these are people who are committed to the community as well. And it's so vital that you have those boots on the ground right there in our communities. And that starts with the dealership.
What do you think stands out as a driver, car buyer, but in your experience, is there anything as I went and I purchased my last vehicle, this really stood out to me? What was it?
Well, the last thing that happened to me, is funny that one of your sponsors is here. I just told him I fired him because I paid off a vehicle for my daughter. And they were the financial people, but it went like that. I went to the deal, I got the finance, and boom, boom, and I paid it off early. But the relationship from the beginning to the end, to the after I finished, to get the title in the mail, the whole 9 yards. I mean, and that was an experience that I was like, okay, I don't know if it's new technology or what it is, but the process just seems so much better than when I first bought my first car, 30 years ago. It just seems so much smoother and easier, and you can see all of the information that you need to see to be able to manage your own system, so you can pay it off early, you can, pay it on time, whatever you want to do. I wanted to pay it off earlier, and I got to see it, and then when it was done, I never had to go through back and forth. It's like, oh, you're done. Mailed me my title, mailed me my stuff, sent me an alert. Oh, guess what? You just paid this thing off. I was like, oh, cool. So just the new technology and the interaction with the organization, and it was really cool.
As far as Virginia being a leader in business, what do you think it's going to take for the state to stay on top and really maintain that ranking?
I mean, I think we have to continue to make sure that we're investing in people. At the end of the day, our human talent in Virginia is above, I think, our higher education. Our public education system is preparing us to continue to lead. We have to stay invested. We can't let anything get in the way, no matter what the arguments that we have are about. It has to be about making sure we're investing in early childhood education, making sure that we're investing in our public schools, making sure that we're protecting higher education. So we'll continue to have a talent pipeline that we have, which propels us to be. And then we create the business environment that most of us just get out of the way, and let the people who have always done well by growing, America's prosperous because we've gotten out of the way and letting folks do what they need to do to be able to create the wealth and create the businesses that we need to create. And I think when we do that, and now my job is only to help create the environment, get out of the way, and let the talent, let the cream rise to the top. And that's what I think we've been able to do in Virginia.
About this convention too, what stands out to you with auto dealers? What brings you here? Where is this really unique as far as an event?
You know what's so interesting about this conference is that the folks here, you would think that, if you read the news, things are that bad. But here in this conference, you understand that people are optimistic. We're bullish on America. And that's what I like about being here. Folks believe in this country, believe on the path that we're on. They're in their own way. They're just as patriotic as anybody else. But they also understand that they have a responsibility to the folks that they work for, that work with them. So whether you're the owner or whether you're the general manager, or whether you're just a salesperson, all of the folks feel responsible to one another. And that's what I'm getting at. It's just so fun to be around the optimism that's here. Like, people keep looking for tomorrow. They're excited about what's about to happen, as opposed to the doomsday and despair that people are trying to sell us. I think these folks believe that America's best days are ahead of them and not behind them, and they really believe in the future. That's why I like being here.
So we're chatting here in June, very much convention season.
Right.
Where does your mind go this time of year? Where is it more of a ramp up? Is it more of a reset as far as just the legislative side of things? Take me kind of inside the lawmaker mindset come June.
Well, in June right now, because we have an election in November, my mindset is doing everything that we can to put us in a position to be successful in the election. I was just listening to one of the speakers here, and he was talking about making sure that you have the right mindset to win and making sure that you stay on the offensive. And so I think one of the things that right now I'm on the offensive when it comes to being prepared for the next election. And then more importantly about what you can do when you do have responsibility and the obligation of leadership. How do you continue to help people? Because I think we may have disagreements, but I think everybody's interested in helping people. And that's the beautiful thing about being here in Virginia.
Well, Speaker Don Scott, really appreciate your time, your insights, and this is part of special coverage at VADA 25 convention at the Omni Homestead. Really appreciate your time, Speaker Scott. I'm Dan Carrigan, watching VADA Live.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it.